What's up, everybody? This is Dolls Will Be Dolls, and I will tell you this was extreme doll customizing. This took hours upon hours. I might have been customizing this doll for a few weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see where I was showing you where I began with the body, and it started off with just basically just trying to contour a real doll's male chest. I did that, and I did it out of APOXIE sculpt, which that was my first time using that, so I really wasn't sure what I was doing, but I did watch a few videos. People like Hexion was really good at showing you how to use that type of material. I really do like it, so it works well. So just sit back, this is a long video, and enjoy it. And just know this video is dedicated to a good friend of mine by the name of Karen, better known as Palm Tree Living. I literally drove her crazy with this doll because, you know, she knew this doll was on a regular female made to move body. I still couldn't find a male made to move body that would fit the type of doll head that I wanted, but I do dedicate this video to her, and she is so missed. But anyway, I'm going to get on with this video. Okay guys, so I want to give a shout out to Everything Dolls. I went to her channel and she shows you how to reroot. I was really scared to use the rerooting tool because I thought it was difficult, and when I saw all these hair plugs in these dolls' head, I just felt like I couldn't do it. But she did it so simple. She made it so easy for you to see and to learn, so I really appreciate that. So shout out to you, Kelsey, thank you so much. And you just see me here showing you what I did, and I actually rerooted the doll hair, and I was just shocked that I did it. I didn't think I could do it. So, you know, maybe I need to stop doubting myself, because I can do a lot of things more than what I think I can. So let's just get on with the video. Now you guys can see me using my Dremel tool. This is very dangerous. I do not suggest any young kids use this. This is me experimenting with this tool, and I don't use it that much, but once I started customizing dolls, this really came in handy for me. So yeah, you want to proceed with extreme caution. It can be very dangerous. So, but you see me sanding down the doll's foot, and this is what I use to make his feet bigger, which is called APOXIE sculpt. It's fun to do, but it does take time to you gotta, first of all, when you do it, you have to wait for it to dry. So it's easy, but you know, you have to really form it, and you have to keep, you know, molding it on to the doll's foot to make it bigger. So I actually enjoyed that. Then you have to wait for it to get hard. It dries really fast. Doesn't take a long time for this stuff to dry. Then you're able to sand it or use any power tool like this Dremel tool that I'm using, and there you go. Now in this part, you will see me using my nail filer to sand certain parts of the foot down, and it works really well. And what I love about the nail filer, I'm able to be in control of the motion, how much I want to sand around the doll's foot. So like I said, this is all new for me. I've never done this before, but it's fun. As I'm going along, I'm learning something new and how to use different things. So that's the exciting part about it. So I don't want to make the video too long, but I will show you different clips in different parts. Okay guys, so what you can see is I actually was filing this down. You see a lot of the residue coming off, right? Because I'm still filing it down to actually make the chest up flatter. So the more you keep filing it down with whatever file you have, the flatter it's going to get. But I don't want to do it too much because I don't want it to possibly crack. But I know that this APOXIE sculpt is awesome. I really like it. And if you look here, I'm really filing it into to flatten this to make it look like it's his natural chest, right? So it's gonna take a little bit of time to keep filing it down, but I don't want to do too much filing because, like I said, I don't want it to start breaking and cracking if I go too deep. So it looks pretty much like male chest to me, although I think it's still slightly a little bulky. So I'm gonna file it down a little more, not too much. And yeah, and hopefully once I paint this in, I know it's gonna look a lot better than what I had going on before, because I didn't bother to do it because the doll always had on clothes. But there's times I may want the doll to open the shirt up to show off the chest a little bit. I don't know, he's supposed to be a performing doll, so yep, so that's why. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's kind of hard sometimes to do things on camera and show you guys because you can't see what I'm doing fully because my hands or whatever I'm doing is in the way. But as you can see here, I'm showing you what I'm using. You can use a filer, or if you have a file buffer, whatever you may have, or a sand buffer tool or whatever, anything that will sand this down will work. A Dremel like I have, but I'm scared to use my Dremel because I'm scared it's gonna crack it and lose the shape. And the shape is already kind of formed, so if I crack it too much, I'm gonna ruin the shape. So I think I feel more safe using the file because I have more control in how deep I want to go as far as filing. Okay guys, so I'm working. Okay guys, so you know that I first rerooted his hair with brown hair, and this is the saran hair that I got from doll.I. And what it is, I had to do it over because I messed the doll head up, the neck. So this is even the original body, and the head won't fit on the right way no more. Like it's messed up because I tried to cut it before in the previous part of the video, or the first video I made for the customization of the new Javon doll. I cut this part and I was trying to make his head fit on the new made to move male body, which didn't work. And I did root his hair super thick, and what I want to say is the saran hair is really thick, the strands. What I was doing, I was putting too much hair in each hair plug when I was rerooting the doll hair. So now I learned not to do that. So I have a new doll and this one is this one. My daughter was nice and bought me a brand new doll with new hair, but this hair is black, which I wanted the hair to be black. And I made sure when I rerooted it, I didn't put too much hair into each plug. If you can see that, it's thinner. I like the fact that it's thinner because I can actually style it more. And look, there's no broken, ripped up pieces. This is why this doll head has to go onto this body, because it's slim. This head fits onto this body perfectly. I don't know, because like I said, when you looked at the first video, the inside will show you, you see that hole, it's so small, so it wouldn't fit onto the made to move male body because the hole is too small, and the neck peg, it doesn't fit, doesn't attach. Okay, so back to the hair. So the hair is nice and thinner. I got every plug. If we can focus, you can see that. Gotta stay still. I got every plug and it's thinner, so I like that. So I really went into customizing this doll. Another thing I want to show you, I like the fact that he was Asian or Korean and had the Korean features, so I'm gonna change it out a little bit. I'm not going to erase his face at all, really. I'm just gonna go over it. I'm gonna darken the eyes. I'm definitely gonna take that pink off. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like that. And do something to his lips. As you can see, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do the lips, but I'm gonna give it a try. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing, guys. So yeah, wish me luck. So I'm back. So as you can see, You can see the doll. So what I did here is I cleaned his face. Now you know this is a BTS doll head. I cleaned his face really well. I removed the pink lips and I removed some of the pinkness off of his eyes. Some of it is kind of still there a little bit. I do not want to erase the eyes at all because I don't know how to paint the eyes back correctly. Like a lot of times I've tried it and my eyes are very uneven. Okay guys, so you see I got my gloves on and I'm ready to play up and customize this doll face a little bit. So let's see what I can do. So I have some soft pastels. I'm going to dip this brush in. I remember I already sprayed his face with Mr. Super Clear, so I should be able to contour and do things that I would like to do to the doll's face. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this pastel. It's like a light tan, kind of peaches color, and try to brush it across his face a little bit, and let's see what that begins to look like. Just a little bit. So you can see it some. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I may have to come back when I'm finished because I keep bumping the camera lens and I can't get to the doll the way I want to. So I'm just showing you how I began this, if you can see, and it's already starting to give him a darker skin tone, but I'm gonna have to add some shadows and things to it. So I think I'll do better off camera and then I'll come back so I don't completely mess this doll face up. Okay, thank you. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is also an original Javon doll face. This is the this doll head is the Asian Barbie princess, 1999. Sorry, I'm holding my camera in my hand. That's who this doll is, and this is the doll that I use for Javon. And I had changed his eyes out a few times. Like the color, I had them gray, I had them brown or silver looking, but I think I'm gonna go with the dark color. So as you can see, I started blushing this doll's face right here, if I can put the camera on it. And as you can see, sometimes although I'm using the soft pastels, you can see it's got streaks in it, which I'm not liking the way that's looking. So believe me, I'm gonna figure something out how to fix that. I'm just wishing it would focus. You can see that side doesn't look so bad, but when I turn the face over this way, let's focus, you can see all the streaks in the face. So I'm gonna figure it out. That's why I say it's gonna be hard to do on camera. I know if I had like a what are those, an airbrush, if I had an airbrush, that would work really well, but I don't have an airbrush to change the dark skin tone. But as you can see, he is darker. He's not as fair. I mean, he's still fair skinned, but he's darker. He's got a little more color into his skin. Okay, but I'm gonna keep working, and once I'm finished, you will see. Okay guys, so some of you know that are following me on Instagram. I keep posting like little videos showing you what I'm doing. So what I did to this doll skin is I just got together some regular craft paints like these. So I use red, a little bit of red, I use yellow, I used little bit of this is like, it's called Sun-Kissed Peach, because I'm trying to get like a skin tone. You can see that Sun-Kissed Peach. And I use some of this raw sienna, like it's like a type of brown paint. So I used those 4 colors. I painted this doll's face, and what I did, once I painted it, it's gonna look weird, I should have showed it, but just paint it. Once you mix your colors to get the skin tone that you want, you let it dry up on the doll's face. And here's the trick, because if you notice, this doll was skin tone was more fair than this. Like, this is the body he came on, and if you can see now, because I painted it and I took some what do you call that, some pure acetone, and I wiped his face off, it kind of gave him a peachy skin tone. Although I wanted him to be slightly darker, I couldn't make him darker. It wasn't working right. So as long as I was able to give him a little more complexion to his skin tone, because he was too fair skinned. Not that something's wrong with it, but you know, I wanted him to match his body a little bit, although his body is a lot darker, but that's okay. But if you notice, this was more like the doll's skin tone, because this is the body that he was on. I can't show you the full body, and I also was using this doll body for different color paints to see. I used this doll body as a canvas because all of this could be washed off, so it's not a big deal. As you can see, there's something here that looks orangey, because his the new Javon doll, his body is like almost like an orangey sun-kissed glow type of body. So yeah, so I'm gonna keep working and I'm gonna come back. Okay guys, so I'm gonna show you a little demonstration of what I did and how I changed that doll's skin tone up a little bit. So I'm gonna take my paintbrush here and I'm gonna get my paint, because I had some paint left over, and I just got some paint on a piece of paper right here. You can see it right there, and I'm going to take some of this paint off. And this is what I did to the doll's face. Like, say I do it on the doll's leg. I'm just giving you a demonstration. I painted it, right? It's not gonna stay. Remember, this is acrylic paint, so you can definitely wash this off. So once I'm finished doing the doll face, then you know you have to let it dry. You let it dry a little bit. So you paint it. It's not going to be perfect. If you can see that. You see I painted it. Let me see if I hit this light off. Would that help you see a little better? No, I made it darker. Okay, but so I painted it. You can see that. So I need to let that dry. And then once that dry, I'll show you what I did to his face. But although I'm thinking the body and the doll's face, the plastic might be different, I'm not sure, but you have to experiment. This is what I'm trying to say. You have to experiment when you're playing up with different trying to do doll repaints on their face and or even their body. You got to play up with these different materials. So I was using things like soft pastels, which is these right here. I'll put the doll down. Here's my soft pastels. I use that. You can scrape some of it off. You take a brush and you can brush it onto the doll's face. I mean, you have to just play up with it. You have to figure out what works for you, because I'm not a professional paint artist, so I don't really know how to professionally repaint a doll's face. So it's not going to come out the best, but it can come out good if I keep playing around with things. I can figure this thing out. So I'm gonna let the leg dry, and once the leg is drying, oops, I didn't touch it, I touched it. Once this dry, I'll show you what I did and how I got this doll's face to have a different type of skin tone, because now he looks more peachy instead of, he was very fair skin, like fair white. Now he has more of a like a peach complexion. Okay guys, so I'm back. So what I used after I painted the doll's face, or now the doll leg is dry now. Let me show you his leg. His leg is dry. Right, let me turn it the right way. Okay, this part right here is dry now. So what I did, is I took some pure acetone, which is this right here. See, pure acetone, and I dipped it, I dipped the Q-tip into the pure acetone, and I began to wipe the doll face off like I'll do with the leg. I took this and I just started wiping it off, and although it's probably gonna look different, this is what helped. You see what it's doing? Let me see if it can show. You see what it's doing? I'm not sure what happened with the face, but when I put the paint and I painted the doll's face and it dried up, then I took the pure acetone and I cleaned it off. It's like it stained the doll's face. So that's what I did. It's different for the leg because, like I said, maybe the body and the face is two different types of plastic. It's not the same. And I noticed that this light is very bright. I don't know if I turn one off, what will that do? So you can see, but I know when I take pictures it'll be different because the lighting is so weird in my house. So I work with what I can, but yep, so that's what I did. But when I began to film with this doll again, I began my doll show again, you'll see, or I'll take some pictures and post them on Instagram. They're gonna look different and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay guys, so I finished this doll's chest. So what I want to do now is just paint it. So I'll show you a little bit on camera and then I'm going to turn it off because I can't complete the whole thing on camera. But just showing you, I still had some leftover paint that I did for the doll's face. So I dipped my paintbrush into a little bit of water, right, and dip it into some paint that I got left over, which I do. I still have some paint left over, and I could begin painting this doll's chest. And I'm gonna start. You see? And I'm painting it. And you just gotta keep mixing the colors till you can get what you're looking for. This looks pretty good. It's probably not going to match perfectly, but I'm not going to leave it gray. I can tell you that much. See that? So that's what I just did. So I'm gonna come off camera and I'm just going to finish it because I'm talking too much. I don't want the video to be too long, but I did want you to see the process. And I am an amateur at doing this stuff. I'm not a professional with this stuff. So I'm learning as I make and create these things, okay? So thank you so much for sticking by. Okay, so guys, you see I'm just tapping onto the doll's vinyl skin with the paint, just lightly tapping it all over. This is all I did, and that's all it takes. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. My battery died, so I just changed the battery. So what I was showing you here, as you can see, the kneecap. You can see where I painted some. So the trick that I'm doing with painting is I'm using a makeup sponge. If I can show it to you. I'm gonna show you the makeup sponge that I'm using, which is, where is it? Where are you? Gotta be over here. There we go. I'm using this makeup sponge right here, where I'm dipping the sponge into the paint which is right here. So I'm dipping this sponge into the paint. Sorry about that. And I'm just tapping it onto the doll, which I'll show you the doll right here. Sorry about that. So as I dip this sponge into the paint, I tap the paint and I tap it onto the doll. Just tap it, not too much, tap it. It comes on smoother this way. Use a makeup sponge, it does work. I do prefer that more. So I have a lot more to do, as you can see. Tapping, just tapping. That's all I'm doing, tapping it. I hung the doll up so this way it can dry better that way. So that's why I'm doing that. Oh, you probably just seeing my whole hand in the way. But as you can see, what you do is you take this sponge right here and you just tapping it onto the doll's vinyl skin. Okay, so enough of that, but that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna finish it up, and then once it's complete, I will show you. Thank you for being so patient. Okay guys, so you can see I finished painting this doll's body from feet. This is how the feet turned out. I didn't make like toes. I just left it like that because at least the feet are bigger where the doll can actually fit into male shoes now. And this is how the paint came out. Some of it is still a little, areas are still light, but that's okay because I really was doing the chest area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blush it. You still can see some areas that's a little light and a little dark, but I'm just gonna blush it out with some soft pastels. And this is how it came out. Let's see if I can turn the doll around. You can see. But this is with acrylic paint. Sorry about that. This is acrylic paint, and it will dry out because this was some matte paint that I had. Let me back up so you can see. And yep, I did the whole body. I'm trying to turn it without the doll body falling to show you. But this is everything. This is how the hands came out. Pretty good. I mean, it's dry, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to spray it again with some some MSC, Mr. Super Clear, and so that the paint can stay. Now, I don't think this paint will stay that long, so eventually I know I'm gonna have to probably repaint the body. And look, you know, and remember I made the feet out of APOXIE SCULPT clay. So I'm just really showing you. I'm gonna turn them around to the back. If I can get it just without falling. I'm trying not to get the doll to fall. And here we go. And yep, this is how it came out. So I'm gonna have to spray it. No, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for now. You know, and if I had to repaint, I would. But you know, layers and layers of paint, you can get this done. But it's layers. Like I don't know, I might have did about 10, well maybe not 10, maybe about 6 different layers of paint. So here's the chest. Trying to get it to clear up. There you go. And this is what it looks like. Okay. And the hands. Trying to get it to focus. Sometimes for some reason just doesn't want to focus. I guess because I'm holding it in my hand. But yeah, so this is it. This is how it looks. Now what you'll see me do, I'm gonna take my paintbrush and I'm going to dip it into my soft pastels, which I have it here on a white piece of paper, but I don't want to move it. I just have like a little bit of brown and like a little bit, it's like a dark peach or orange, and I'm just gonna blush some areas just to see what it looks like. So I'll start with the brown and take my brush and try to give a little bit of pigmentation to the, like different some shadows on the doll skin. You know, and I think that that'd be looking pretty cool. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'll move it like this so you can see. And then I'm definitely gonna have to spray it again. I don't have much of this soft pastels like I'm doing. You know, it just gives the body a little more color, just a little more color, like I'm doing on the chest. That's what I'm doing. This is new for me. I've never done this before, so this is pretty fun to me. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I do know shadows would help make it look a little better. This wasn't the right type of paint. I mean, you could use acrylic paint, but I think there's a paint called activated alcohol paint is the one that you want to use. It goes really nicely onto doll's vinyl skin. So that's what I learned, but I used what I had. I didn't go out of my way to buy something else. It's nice to use what you have. You save money like that. And then maybe, you know, if this doesn't work too well and I have to repaint it, I know what to do. I definitely would give that other paint a try. And what I'll do is I'll leave a link to the video of the person who used it, who repainted her doll skin, and it came out really, really nice. And one thing you do have to use, I'm putting it on the hands, you definitely have to use the right type of materials to do these things. I used what I had, and I'm making it work with what I had. So I'm looking at that like that's pretty smart. You don't always have to go out and buy new things unless you just want to, or you really, really need it to. But this is giving the doll a little more color to the skin. When I tried to do this to the doll face, it messed up. So obviously the body and the face vinyl, although it's plastic, it's like it's different. It's not the same because it won't give me the same results. Okay, so I'm gonna come off camera because this will take long, and I'm just gonna finish it and then I'll show you when I'm done. Okay guys, I finished contouring the body, so I'll zoom in and let you see what I did here. So what you'll see is I tried to make stomach muscles on the doll's stomach, and you know, well, you see that's the chest. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's pretty okay for, this is my first time doing this, so, and this is what it looks like. So I use my color pastels, right, and I just drew these stomach muscles the best way I knew how, and that's it. I mean, as you can see, this is just me shading and coloring the doll body in. Now you're gonna see some areas that may look off, but it's not perfect, but I think it looks pretty good. It's my first time. It takes hours. It took me a few weeks to do this, so now the doll is basically complete, and I'm gonna have to spray it with some MSC, some Mr. Super Clear, and that's it. And I'll show you the doll with his head attached to his body, and we'll see it. Then I'll dress him up. Okay. Okay guys, so this was the ending result of the doll's face, but I messed it up for some reason. When you're using that Mr. Super Clear, sometimes it messes the doll face up and it's sticky. So now I had to completely erase the doll face, and he has a new face now, and I'll show you in the end. Okay guys, so as you can see, I finished his face. I had to clean the doll face, I had to remove the eyes, everything, and I had to redo my own eyes and eyebrows. I had a really hard time doing this because I don't know how to face paint, so I just took my time and this is what I got. He looks different now because in the beginning videos that you've seen on this video, he looks more like a girl, and with his eyes, I use a light brown pencil, and I actually use a regular black pencil to draw the eyes, and I painted in his eyes with some white acrylic paint to get the white. Don't know why it's not focusing. There we go. So yeah, so this is what he looked like. Of course his face is lighter than the body, as you can see, but that's okay. I did darken him, I really did. So this takes a lot of work to do, so I tip my hats off to people who are doing this every week, and this is their job, like Poppin' Atelier, Hexion, or doll.I, all those channels that, and I know it's so many more that that are doing these things. This took me forever, so this is not my forte. I don't like doing it. I think he still looks a little girly, but this is a male doll, so I'm happy with that. So as you can see, the body is kind of chipping because yeah, the paint was acrylic paint, and I did try to matte seal it with some MSC, some Mr. Super Clear. Also I used some Mod Podge so that maybe the tattoos won't come off. So as you can see, the doll is chipping away. It's chipping away, but the whole point is I did what I really always wanted to do, was give this doll a flatter male-like chest and bigger feet, which you can see here. Oops, sorry. Oh, those are the clothes I'm gonna put in. Those are his feet, which are actually bigger and actually will fit into male shoes. So guys, now we have the original Javon doll face. This is my repaint. I'm happy it came out pretty good, and his eyes are actually lighter. So yep, here he goes. So let's just check him out and let's see the new Javon.